So you guys just released the August and Everything Prior EP. That was back in May, I believe, right?
Yeah.
And there was a song I wanted to kind of ask about. It's called Cops.
Yeah. Oh,
Was
yeah.
this in response to kind of, the reckoning that's been happening, or was this already done before?
So, okay. I'm really glad you asked about this because this is something I actually didn't. We talked about not putting it out because to me that song is it's about white privilege because white people's version of the cops is like they're annoying. They're gonna like break up my house party. They're gonna
The chorus I believe is like, I hope the cops don't get called. I just want to dance. I think that's what it was, right?
Yeah. But then it's like that song was written. That was one of the ones that was written maybe like 4 years ago. So, then we finished it, and then like I think that a lot of people are having like a perspective, like an awakening of perspective. Like where like certain times like something makes so much sense that you'll never be able to think the other way. And I think that for me, like the past few years, and Black Lives Matter and everything like has made me want to learn and also fully aware of like the privilege that I have had as a white passing person. I say white passing because I'm Jewish, and so I have the privilege of being white until I don't, but yeah, so I don't know. I guess I was like a little embarrassed when that song came out because it just felt like such a gaping, glaring example of white privilege. But then at the same time, I thought that it was maybe worth putting out to just be able to discuss it. But no one's brought it up yet. So.
Yeah, I mean, when I went back and listened, I heard it and I saw it, and I was like, it's kind of the timing was like, really in line with what was actually happening around, the world. But then at the same time, I know how music works, so I figured it might have even been something that you were thinking about, particularly when you made it, because it could have been an older song. And I really was curious about that, is if you made it in response to it, or it was something you already kind of had that just happened to come out around the same time.
I mean, I think in general, everyone has the same feeling about police, which is like, they're annoying. I hate them, like everyone, like, but I've only been like slapped by police officers. I've never had the shit kicked out of me by police officers.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like I said, like people were kind of complacent. Like, we were definitely in a place of complacency with everything. And I think like with the pandemic and with, all this awakening about policing and everything else, it's definitely, I think, snapped people out of, whatever place of kind of ignorance or just lack of interest that they were. And it's hard to kind of go, like you said, it's hard to go back now that you're like, people are fully aware of the true situation that's been going on. So I just thought it was a really interesting time.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you asking about it. I think it's really also like a lot of these things that are part of our society are for self-protection, So it's like, if you really focused on everything wrong with the world with the same level of focus that like as a society we have on like a lot of issues right now, but like they're very prevalent and being discussed. Like, I think you'd go crazy because there's just so much wrong with everything. It's like, so I think in a lot of ways we kind of like tune stuff out over time for self-protection, just so that we don't have to like be, freaked out and sad.
Yeah, it's not easy like tearing down that veil and like seeing the world how it really is versus how you want it to be.
Well, it's also like I could think of a reason why every day I should be doing something for someone or other people or like it seems like it could be never ending.
Could be very never ending. Yeah.
So I don't know, but I think it's cool like when we have a moment as a society where we can all kind of like come together and get on the same page, because I think part of our problem is that we're never on the same page. There's never like there's even like multiple channels for news. So it's like you don't even like. Some people think that Bill Gates is gonna invent a vaccine for coronavirus to plant microchips in them so you can keep track of them. You know, while they're tweeting from a phone that he built that he can definitely track them on. You know,
like, we're already being tracked on. We're already being tracked. Like whenever people bring up that, you're like, well, what do you think they've been doing for the last 10 years? You think they haven't been tracking you? They've been tracking us with everything. Like what?
They'll tell you how long you sleep every day, like based on your phone activity.
They somehow know my heart rate. You know, like but you know, it's cool that we're all kind of like getting on the same page, and you know, like I'm trying to learn, trying to use my privilege for the right reasons, for good things, you know, hopefully moving forward.